there, I know. So do something you love before you go. Jump in the water, one last hurrah. Stay close to those who make you who you are. Life will surely pass us by. Storms and floods come like the tide. I'm ready to go, my friend, so climb aboard. Stick with me, we'll hit the water. Miami to the Bahamas. Who knows where this boat will take us? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hello, my friends. Salem Hawaii here again. We're out of the water, as you can tell. Headed back to the house, going to do some work on the boat. I thought I'd include some of that, some of the questions you guys have asked over the last few months, and I hadn't been able to get to it, so here we go. Stay tuned. Right here is where my Autopilot goes in, and the shaft clips onto this and pushes this slide, which is off a Hobie catamaran I bought off of eBay and mounted it on there with some aluminum. And I'll get into that a little bit more, but that's where the Autopilot lives. Hey guys, got a lot of stuff going on with the boat, a lot of improvements I want to do to it that over the past year or so that we've been out there sailing. I've learned so much. Every time I go out, it's something new that I've learned, and I can't wait to get out there again. But I'm gonna go through the Autopilot and how I set that up. I had several questions on it, and because it seemed like in our videos we were never steering the boat. And for the most part, on the long hauls, we could spend 5 or 6 hours without steering the boat, and this thing handled it really well. Had a few hiccups. When the rudder falls off, it's hard to steer anything. So, but anything under normal circumstances, this thing works great. I didn't know if it would or not. It's something I picked up on the internet. I saw a guy that had drawn this out on a piece of paper for somebody. They were talking about it, and he wasn't sure if it held up in the heavier seas or however it was going to work. But we've had it on in probably 4 to 5 foot swell, 20, 25 knots of wind, and it seemed to do really good. It probably worked it to death, but it saved us, you know. So it gave us a lot of hours of downtime, so we weren't wore out so bad when we got where we were going. But it really works well. And let me get the camera hooked up here, and we'll show you what we're doing. All right, I tried to draw this out the best I could. Everybody was asking me how I set my Autopilot up on the back of this thing with the long tillers and everything, and the tiller bar going across it. So, okay, your seating is in front here. This is the back cockpit beam. Rudders are back here. And you got your tiller arms coming up on either side and a bar going across. And what I did, and I wish I could take credit for this, but it's not my idea. I saw it on the internet, and the guy had drawn it out on a piece of paper kind of like this, and I kind of made my own version of it. It looked like it would work really well. And I've seen people put a bar out and a bar forward, and I really didn't know what to do with that bar when it wasn't in use. So it would push and pull. And I like that. It seems like that would work too, but it seemed like a pain when that thing was not hooked up, because it'd be pushing that bar back and forth in the cockpit. And I didn't want it sticking out inside the cockpit on either side. So I saw this and I liked it a lot better. So mounted my controller onto the beam, and I got that little piece of slide track off a Hobie with the pin. And I got a piece of chain, I think it's like 14 inches or so long. And what I do when I want to use the autopilot, I take that chain and drop it over the top of that pin and put the autopilot on top of the pin. So when it pushes and pulls the pin, it pushes and pulls the chain, which pulls the ropes that go around to the opposite rudder. And these eye bolts, I measured out 18 inches from the pivot point to where the eye bolts are. Pivot point, eye bolt. That way you get the same ratio you would on a regular tiller on like a monohull. It works exactly the same. It gives you the same ratio of steering on either one. So that 18 inches, like if you had a straight bar out the side, it'd have to be 18 inches long and then come up with a bar to push and pull to get the same ratio of turning on that. So that's why I went with this. So none of it's sticking out in the cockpit. It's all right along the top of that beam, and it was a little cleaner. And so far, it's worked really well. The only issues I've had was power. But I added that second solar panel on there, and that took care of that. And also, I'm going to rewire this. I had a plug in the side of the cockpit seat to plug the autopilot into, and it didn't last any time. It's supposed to be, this new stainless is not really that good anymore. And so it corroded right off the bat, and I had to sand it and clean it all the time and keep it going. So I'm going to rewire this where it's up inside. There's no plug there to get anything on or get corroded. And I have a switch under the seat I can turn this on and off with. So I think that'll be a lot better. So that's what I've got on that. So I had several people ask about how I had my autopilot set up. And really, it did really, really well. I was amazed at how good it steered the boat and how many hours it gave us without steering, and we could focus on other things. And it really was a lifesaver. All right, guys. I hope that was helpful for you guys that were asking. Really does work good, and can't say enough about it. I'm glad I ran across that on the internet. I wish I could remember where I saw it, but I did a ton of research on these things trying to get it going. And I knew I wanted an autopilot really bad, and for long days it's a lifesaver. So y'all stay tuned, like, subscribe, share the video, and stay out there and make it happen. All right, do something you love. Not pretty close.